On this property here at Springhill, we've got a total of 550 kilometres of rows. We've got 2,973 rows that make up that 550 kilometres and a total of 603,000 trees. Part of the reason that we're unique is that we are investing in rural regions that have been underdeveloped from a capital point of view in the past. We're a grower-only business, so we don't have a post-harvest facility. We have post-harvest partners, and we will be heading towards being the largest apple-only grower in the industry.
People are a priority. They're the key to our organisation, empowering them to upskill. That's the success of our company. What does that look like? Putting as much training and upskilling into the team so that we've got a successful organisation going forward.
Down here at Springhill, we're blessed with a really free draining soil. This site is an amazing site. We can get 8 inches of rain on this site and be mowing the next day. It doesn't pull water, it runs through the profile. The climate down in Central Hawke's Bay is really good for apple colouring. We want good differentiation between daytime and nighttime temperatures. Typically at this time of the year, we're getting 16 to 20 degrees difference in temperature, so it really helps with the coloration of the apples. We also have a longer growing season than up on the plains, so our trees flower earlier and our fruit matures later, and that results in a denser apple as well. Historically, this has been a hail-sensitive region, so the netting is there to help protect the apples from hail. It also helps protect the apples from wind damage. Our netting reduces wind speed by 60%. It does pose some challenges. It changes the climate underneath the netting a little bit with a bit more high humidity, so there has been some learnings around pest and disease life cycles and how we manage those in an enclosed atmosphere like we've got here.
Let's just start with our soil and just underneath our trees. The idea is to try and keep this as low competition as possible. That's impeding weeds, that's other factors as well under here, keeping that area clean. It reduces the pest and disease factor, helps us control that a lot more. With our green grass in the middle, we want that sort of moisture retention in there.
The orchard's been developed in scale, and our longest row on the property is 2.3 kilometres long. So our scale allows us to be thinking long-term of GPS and self-driven vehicles. We don't have any autonomous vehicles on the property at the moment. There's still a fair bit of evolution that needs to happen.
One of our programs called Tātou, which is our time and task recorder. So we're able to use the data from Tātou to go to our budgets. Labour is one of the biggest costings on the orchard, so we want to make sure that's kept as tight as possible. We also have Fresh Cloud, which our QCs use at the moment, so that gives us live data on the quality of the fruit that's coming off the tree. So they're able to see that there might be a bit of bruising in one block, and then they'll be able to talk to the pickers to see if it's a them problem or if it's a machinery problem.
The orchard design is focused on having high intensity planting. This allows the trees to be more manageable, lower labour inputs and higher productivity of labour in the tree. But it also means that we're able to manage the tree's vigour and its propensity to fruit. So without having big vigorous trees that are growing lots of leaf, we're able to send the right signals to the tree through hormone balances to fruit, which lifts productivity. So the entire site's been laid out to accommodate 3-row sprayers. They directly apply the chemical to the tree, so we're able to reduce our water use when we're spraying and our agrochemical use as well. So in one pass on our longest rows in the orchard, we're spraying multiple hectares before we have to turn the sprayer around.
We use over-row sprayers, so this helps create a pressure zone within the tree. It's quite different to the conventional air blast technology that is commonly used. This also helps reduce our soil compaction as well as our agrochemical and water use. We start maturity testing about a month before harvest, and what that involves is getting a sample of 20 fruit. We are photographing the blush side up in the background colour. We then weigh the fruit so we can get an indication of size of what fruit count we should be expecting. And then we do a starch test. So this is where we spray iodine on the apples. When the iodine changes to clear, then that means that all of the starch has been converted to sugars. But if it stays that dark charcoal colour, it means that there is still high starch present within the apples. So when we start seeing the apples go from that green background into the white background, that is when it starts to indicate that the starches are really starting to move, and we need to start thinking about when we're going to be harvesting this fruit.
Currently in our Breeze and Jugala blocks, we are well above the upper quartile for production in Hawke's Bay. The average production was 67 tonnes a hectare. We've achieved 84 tonne a hectare this year. As the property matures and the trees mature and our tree structure settles down, the yield increase is definitely improving. The winter of 2023, we planted 44.5 hectares over at Kahahakuri and twin stemmed them, so there's twice as many stems as there is trees on the property. We've done that to help counter the vigour that's in our great soil down here, and that will then lead itself to highly productive trees and a tree that's a little bit cheaper for us to manage. We're good at growing apples, and we've certainly here at Craigmore got a bit of a passion around growing people as well. So we have partnered with Fruition Horticulture from Bay of Plenty for the last 3 years now. We've run 5 cohorts of students between 15 and 24 years of age, and we take them through a 16-week work ready program.
So we get a lot of youth that have drug dependencies, dropped out of school at quite an early age, don't have their level 2s or level 1s, anxiety, all those sort of issues. They're normally tied in with an agency that will refer them to us, and we sort of just work on those one by one and step by step. So in the first 2 to 3 weeks, we'll just work on attendance, because that normally is one of the barriers, getting out of bed in the morning and staying up too late on gaming and those sort of things. By week 4, we're trying to get into work experience, and then for the next 14 weeks, we'll do work experience 2 days and then 3 days to build it up to a full week.
So the Whaiwhanaaki course is a bit better than the colleges and stuff, because at the colleges you got loud learning environments with, like, say, 30 plus people for one teacher, where on the Whaiwhanaaki course you got few support staff and there's more one-on-one sort of learning, a bit more out in the field than just sitting in the classroom all day.
So he's now supervising teams. That's a huge, huge achievement for him. I get teary-eyed thinking about his journey and talking about his journey, because he's just such an inspiration for the other youth.
Our apples are exported all across the world, from Europe and Asia. They're our 2 biggest sort of centres of exports, and there's more fruit going to Asia than ever before. So when we're selecting varieties, it's definitely part of our thought process. This site has 7 post-harvest providers, and that's variety specific, so who does the best job for that variety and market. Being growers only, it's very important that they understand our business and they're out there fighting for the best return for us within their markets.